Hello, welcome to the Good Way podcast. I am your host, Holly, and I'm so glad that you're joining me. Today, we're going to explore some stories, music, poetry, things that are good, true, and beautiful. Well, hello, and welcome back to another episode. As usual, let's start our time together with the Lord's Prayer. Would you say it with me? Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. How's it going learning Psalm 100? Well, I was thinking about it this week, and something kind of struck me. I think that we often live like where we are is our kingdom, maybe our house, our community, even our country living in America. And this passage makes it really clear that we belong to a different kingdom. So even though things might be crazy here in God's kingdom, things are always right, and there are no mistakes. You don't have to vote for somebody or fight about something or disagree with anybody because in God's kingdom, everything is perfect and just. Isn't that great to think about? Well, I noticed in this psalm that there's a lot of language about God's kingdom. Maybe you've noticed that in a lot of these Greek myths that I've been telling you, there are kings and queens, princes and princesses, gods and goddesses, and they have all sorts of different palaces and temples. Well, in this psalm, we see that God also has a kingdom, and he has, in a sense, a palace. It says that he has a pasture. We are the sheep of his pasture. Well, he will care for us. There are gates. He has courts. And so it's important to remember that God is the king over everything. In all of our myths, we're hearing these fun stories about kings and their adventures and the crazy things that the gods do, right? But these people mess up a lot, and the world is actually pretty crazy. We can rest in the fact, though, that God is really the true king over everything. So let's read this psalm, and I want you to think about God as a king. Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord, he is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name, for the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. Well, last week, Jeff and I went to Big Sur. Have you ever been there? It's a great place to camp. It's where the mountains come up against the sea in Central California, and there are these great big cliffs that tower over clear blue water. It is just beautiful. There are also lots of trees there. In our campground, we had pine trees all over the place, along with a stream. Well, one day, we decided to go for a hike in the stream. Have you ever done that? It's really fun to hike in a river, as long as the water isn't too fast or too deep. Well, as we were going along, we found crawdads, we saw a little fish, we heard birds singing, we heard the water as it rippled through the rocks and went down little rapids. It was quite magical. I could imagine the writer of this hymn walking through Big Sur and writing a whole nother verse of this song. Well, I wonder if you have a place in nature that you really love that's special to you. I want you to close your eyes and imagine going there with your mind's eye. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What can you feel? Well, you can take all of those different things, and I wonder if you could make your own verse to this song. See if you can come up with a few lines this week.
Hello, everybody. Today, we're going to sing This Is My Father's World. We get to remember that God is our Father, but he's in control and he's created everything. So let's sing. This is my Father's world, and to my listening ears, all nature sings, and round me rings the music of the spheres. This is my Father's world. I rest me in the thought of rocks and trees, of skies and seas. His hand the wonders wrought. This is my Father's world. Their birds their carols raise, the morning light, the lily white, declare their Maker's praise. This is my Father's world. He shines in all that's fair. In the rustling grass I hear him pass. He speaks to me everywhere. This is my Father's world. Oh, let me ne'er forget that though the wrong seems oft so strong, God is the ruler yet. This is my Father's world. The battle is not done. Jesus who died shall be satisfied, and earth and heaven be one. This is my Father's world. The battle is not done. Jesus who died shall be satisfied, and earth and heaven be one.
I have a story for you. This time, I'm not going to tell you the title until the end. It goes like this. There was once a man whose wife bore him a child. He wished for nothing more than a son. So when the child was born a girl, he wanted nothing to do with her. He abandoned the infant in the wilderness, leaving her to die. But she did not die, for a bear heard her cries and carried her back to the den. The she-bear raised the little girl alongside her cubs. A few years later, a huntsman was walking through the woods when he saw a girl running alongside the beasts. He was perplexed by this strange sight, so he set up a snare and he caught her. He brought her home and taught her how to eat and how to speak and how to behave like a human. Even though she became more civilized, though, she still loved to run, and she spent many hours out in the woods running. Her foster father knew that she had a special gift of speed, so he resolved to take her to an athletic competition to see how she compared against the other runners in the land. Well, it was not even a competition. She won every single race, even against men. She became quite famous as the girl named Atalanta. Well, eventually, her fame reached the king, who happened to be her real father. Even though he had abandoned her when she was a baby, he proudly reclaimed her as his long-lost daughter. This was all well and fine for a while, until the king decided that a princess should not be running about unmarried. So he began the search for a suitable husband for her. Atalanta was not interested in getting married and sitting inside all day, but she could not refuse her father, the king. And so she made a deal with him. "I will marry any man who can beat me in a running race," she told him, "but with one condition. Any man who attempts to race me and loses will also lose his life." Now, she was sure this condition would scare her suitors away, but because she was so beautiful and the daughter of a king, many men undertook the challenge and thus lost their lives. One day, a prince named Melanian came to court Atalanta. He watched her run, and he knew there was no way he could ever beat her at a foot race. And so he sat down to think, knowing he must find a different way to win the hand of the princess. He made a sacrifice to Aphrodite, the goddess of love, and asked her for help. Wanting to see Atalanta married, Aphrodite agreed, and gave Melanian a gift. She whispered into his ear and handed him a sack filled with 3 golden apples. The day for the race was set, and the couple approached the starting line. Atalanta with an easy smile on her face, and Melanian with a sack of apples in his hand. Atalanta was so confident that she would win, she gave the suitor a head start. He raced as fast as he could, covering as much ground as possible before Atalanta caught up with him. When he heard her light footsteps approaching behind him, he reached into the sack and carefully drew out one of the golden apples. It sparkled in the sunshine, catching Atalanta's eye. She slowed a bit, coming in for a closer look. Once Melanian was sure she was distracted by the apple, he tossed it off the path and into the bushes. Just as Aphrodite had predicted, Atalanta followed the apple right off the course. Melanian did not delay, but once again he took off as fast as his legs would carry him toward the finish line. Before long, however, Atalanta overtook him once again, with the apple in her hand. He reached into his sack once again and drew out the second apple. She glanced at him curiously and then fixed her gaze on the second apple. This time he threw it off to the other side of the track, into the long grass. And once again, she chased after it. Knowing that his time was running out, he pumped his legs as fast as they would go, closing the distance to the finish line. But a few moments later, Atalanta was on his heels, this time holding an apple in each hand. This was his last chance, for if he lost the race, he would also lose his life. He reached down into the sack and grabbed the final apple. He raised it high into the air, ensuring that Atalanta would be captivated by it. Then he hurled it with all his strength over into a patch of trees. He saw Atalanta dash after it as he sped onward. With just a moment to spare, he crossed the finish line with Atalanta at his heels. He had won the race. Atalanta admired the clever Melanian and treasured the golden apples he had given her. They were soon married and lived happily together. They never forgot to honor the goddess Aphrodite, who had brought them together with her golden apples. This story is called Atalanta and the Golden Apples. Do you see why I waited till the end to tell you the title? Well, Aphrodite is quite famous for her golden apples, and there's another very famous story about another golden apple. Maybe you'll read about it someday. As usual, I have a couple questions for you. I wonder what you think about this story. Does it remind you of any other stories that you know? What do you think about Atalanta's deal that she made with her father about getting married? What do you think about Melanian? Do you think you would have taken such a risk to marry someone like the princess? Well, there's a lot to think about in this story. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, if Atalanta was known for being fast, the poem I have for you today is about a creature that is known for being very slow. Any guesses what it might be? It's a snail. My poem today is called Snail. It's by Langston Hughes. Snail by Langston Hughes. Little snail, dreaming you go. Weather and rose is all you know. Weather and rose is all you see. Drinking the dewdrop's mystery. There are many reasons to love Langston Hughes, but I think one of my favorite is that he makes his words sing. The way he uses language, the way that he arranges it, where he puts pauses and where he makes sentences just keep going, makes music for my ears. In fact, he was once quoted as saying, "To make words sing is a wonderful thing." Indeed it is, isn't it? Well, in this poem, we read about a snail. The poem is quite short. There's not a whole lot to it. But you can imagine, if you close your eyes and use your mind's eye, a little snail wandering in the garden. He says, "Little snail, dreaming you go. Weather and rose is all you know." Do you hear the rhyme in there? Go and know rhyme. But you can imagine this little snail just kind of taking his time, because that's what snails do, dreaming of the world around him. And what are the things that he is familiar with? Well, his whole world is what the weather is, and then a rose. In a garden, maybe he has roses all around him, or some sort of grass or plants, something beautiful. In the second section, he repeats that same idea, weather and rose is all you see, Drinking the dewdrop's mystery. Ooh, what do you think about that line? Drinking the dewdrop's mystery. Throughout the garden there is dew as the snail is wandering and dreaming through the roses. And what does he have? He's surrounded by mystery. Do you ever feel that way when you're in nature? Maybe you could go for a walk and imagine you're a snail, dreaming as you go. I want to read it for you one more time. Snail by Langston Hughes. Little snail, dreaming you go. Weather and rose is all you know. Weather and rose is all you see. Drinking the dewdrop's mystery. The blessing I have for you today comes from Numbers, chapter 6, verses 24 to 26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Well, thanks for joining me. Until next time, look for the good way and walk in it.